Well, we finally have a day of peaceful weather, but unfortunately, that's not going to last for very long. Emergency crews are preparing for the next round of wind, rain, and snow. Tonight, I visited the Cosumnes Fire Department, who is staffing up, and they were one of the areas that was already one of the hardest hit. On the night of the New Year's Eve storm, approximately how many calls came through just on the county lines?
Just on the county line on New Year's Eve, I think it was about 1,000 calls, and on New Year's Day, around 900 calls. In our normal days, it's about 500 calls.
You guys were prepared for a storm, but this was much bigger than that.
Yes, the emergency crews were not expecting to get dispatched to Highway 99, one of our major thoroughfares through our district, to be experiencing floodwaters that were flowing and moving like at the speed of a river.
Command Truck 65. Both victims are denying any.
The crews experienced driving through major floodwaters. The roadway was moving. There were people standing on their cars were drifting. There were people everywhere. There were people that had been out of their cars and moved and swept and were able to find higher ground. So our crews were going and getting people, putting them in our emergency vehicle, getting them to safety, and then turning right around and going right back out to rescue more people. With approximately at least 50 cars that had been rescued from.
In your years of experience, have you ever seen Highway 99 and or Dillard Road look like this?
I've never seen, I've worked here 24 years and I've never seen floodwaters to this level. We experienced more floodwaters, more pooling and stagnant waters where it's more deep in certain low-lying areas, but not where it is flowing like a river across major road systems.
Anything else you think people should know?
I think that preparedness is something that we should make sure that people are aware of, like being prepared with food, water, make sure your generator is fueled.
All right, Carly, so everyone is preparing, including yourself, tracking all this. How are we looking right now, though?
You know, we got that nice break today, so everyone's pretty happy about that. Even saw a little bit of sunshine, so that was great. But you can see just offshore some of that rain already arriving to the northwest of the state. We're getting mostly cloudy skies right now, and then the rain expected to arrive early tomorrow morning and then continue on through at least almost Wednesday. So a lot of rain headed our way. We actually have two systems here, one to the north and this low pressure circulating here that's bringing in the rain that comes in tomorrow morning. So we're tracking that. After this one, we have another one just coming in offshore. That'll bring in another atmospheric river. Pretty strong one, in fact, as we move from Monday to Tuesday. So get ready for a lot of rain still headed our way. Temperatures in the overnight hours are expected to remain right around 50 degrees or so with rain early morning. It's calm now, but the winds will pick up. Talking 20 to 30 mile per hour sustained winds. We do have a wind advisory in effect Saturday to Sunday with that heavy rain rolling through along that cold front. We will see some strong winds and very solid downpours coming in from Saturday night into early Sunday morning. That means we are looking at a lot of the rivers here reaching monitor stage because of how much rain is coming. Just take a look at some of the forecasts here. Now, I want to point out that the Cosumnes River as well as the McColmy River, this should be in red now because this just changed from the forecast to be above flooding level. So that's 19 feet there. And then take a look at that, 14.9 feet. We're looking at Yuba River and the Sacramento River as well, where we're seeing the forecast there to be close to flood stage. So that's where we get a little scary here as we start rolling through the next two more storm systems moving in tomorrow.
Now, Carly, a lot of people online are talking about this water and how much we're releasing from our reservoirs, even though we're in a drought. One viewer even wrote in and he was asking us in part, why does it seem that the DWR is releasing more water than necessary from our dams? By what measure does the DWR determine how much water to release? And what actions are being taken to reserve the released water for our future use?
Yeah, it's a very, very complicated question. It's not just answered by one sentence or two. I mean, it involves a lot of agencies and it's a huge balancing act. So the question is, why are we releasing water when we need it? Well, the truth is there's a lot of neighborhoods right around these rivers, these dams, that if we don't release it, these neighborhoods will be underwater. We've already seen it earlier in the week. New Year's Eve storm. just the levees couldn't hold on. So we need to release water. The problem is, right now, the Department of Water Resources, they have the California Water Project, and that project, well, it's supposed to bring in a lot of more resources really for the underground water to build an infrastructure to hold more water. We just don't have that right now. So that's the big problem. We may have funding and it's holding on to that funding, but building the actual underground, I should say, water basin, that's going to take a lot of time, money, and of course resources that it's just not keeping up with how much water we're getting right now.
Yeah, and we also reached out to the Department of Water Resources, and they referred us to a video that you can find on our website. It's listed on your screen right now. And they also told us that they are dealing with a flood emergency and a drought emergency at the same time, right?
It's the same time. How much water to release to make sure our neighborhoods are safe, but at the same time, we still want to hold on to water, and that's the problem. Where do we store it?
Yep. All right, Carly, thank you so much. Of course, we will continue to monitor this. All right, all this water has been devastating for some of our neighbors, and this is what it looked like in El Dorado County earlier this week. The New Year's storm flooded roads in and near Cameron Park, forcing evacuations. And we're getting a firsthand look at the damage this water caused in people's homes. Companies, of course, are getting the calls for help, and Laura Painter followed along with them as one of them works in these homes just to make them livable again.
Desperately trying to dry out from back-to-back storms. Neighbors in Shingle Springs have been working for days to clean up this mess caused by recent flooding. How high did the water come up?
So it was about a foot and a half high, and now this is showing me that this wall is still saturated.
This home suffered inches of flooding. Imagine water in this river was so high from back-to-back storms it came up over this street, pushed its way into these homes, flooding several inches inside, causing thousands of dollars worth of damage. We're not just talking about the walls. The pool is full of muddy water, landscaping is damaged, and the team tells us the owners might need a whole new kitchen. The 5-star restoration team tells us the process is lengthy, including drying out the home and tearing up damaged drywall, flooring, and cabinets.
We do our best to absolutely save everything that we can.
Over the weekend, we had about 90 jobs come in between Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and they're still coming in, but we're trying to take care of as many people as we can right now.
They also warn homeowners the hidden dangers of the floodwater itself.
So normal clean water situations, when someone's got a flood, like a broken pipe or something, we can go in and dry out the structure. But this situation, we got contaminants in the water, so we've got to cut things out.
Aaron also recommends you examine your insurance policies carefully. Not all are the same.
Not every situation is going to be covered under your homeowner's policies. This type of situation where you've got groundwater coming in, this will have to have flood insurance to be covered. A normal water damage in a home will be covered if it comes from a toilet overflow or a broken pipe, that sort of thing. But if it's groundwater, water that hits the ground before it comes into the home, they consider that flood.
And most residential flood insurance is provided through the National Flood Insurance Program, which is administered by FEMA. It typically takes about 30 days for it to go into effect. And also, I want to note that we have a whole list of resources to help you deal with the aftermath of the storm. And then again, we're preparing for the next storm too. So just text the word storm to 916-321-3310. We'll send everything straight to your phone.